Yeah? Yeah. Touch your nose. Don't think I won't.
Yeah. Ah, that's hot. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So I need to preface this a bit. I'm going to do a review of. Oh God, yes, Nightly. Yes, correct. I'm going to do a review of Dreaming number 3 for Vlogmas Day 11. And I've just gotten off work. It is 5:45 in the afternoon and it is pitch freaking dark out. Okay. This one's a little involved for me, simply because there have been a lot of comics that I've read, all of them Vertigo comics. Really haven't read anything except Vertigo comics for quite a long time. And I still have a cold. And the thing about it is, there have been a lot of places in these comic books where I've been very pissed off or annoyed, or it's actually been ruined for me by the inclusion of... It's not just the inclusion of SJW politics, let me be clear on that, although it certainly isn't helping. It's the inclusion of that and the absence of substantial writing. The premise about the Dreaming 1, 2, and 3 up to this point is that Dream has left, specifically Daniel, who is, Dream, and the other characters in the Dream are kind of left to their own devices, and things are breaking down. The barriers between places is weakening. There are cracks in the sky. Weird stuff is happening. Things aren't being maintained properly, and a bunch of faceless kind of guys show up, and at some point they're just calling them Soggies, and I'm like, why are they calling them Soggies? That's very strange. That's very strange to me. And these characters are just shown as being plain, like, vanilla, featureless guys who are nearly identical. They're, like, made of raw dream stuff, I guess. And at some point in the 3rd issue, we start harping in on these strangers from the border taking our jobs, and I went, oh God, no. And something in my head said, like, oh my God, it's no. like I was actually kind of terrified. Like, to the point it bothered me so much, I was, like, depressed. And then it's like, at some point during this comic book, there's, like, a picture of a fucking burning cross, which would make, like, the 3rd or 4th Vertigo title to have a burning cross on it, to have, civil rights era Southern imagery in it. And I was not happy about that. Because my fear isn't it's the politicization of everything, where everything has to be political. That's awful, because it makes stuff not fun, and I'm not reading a comic book to be lectured. 2, the fear is that I'm going to see PC culture and, political correctness and social awareness, social justice, SJW nonsense everywhere. Like, it has to be inserted everywhere, and then my fear is I'm going to start seeing it where it doesn't exist. And when I first saw these things, when I first noticed these elements, it at first wigged me out, because I'm like, please, no. It's like, this is the one good title so far. The one title that's been unabashedly good and this one is going to get ruined by this nonsense. And I thought about it, and it's like, well, maybe I'm just seeing this, and that's becomes a criticism of that SJW PC culture sort of mentality of putting messaging everything, like everything has to have a message, a very specific, blunt, ham-fisted, ham-handed message everywhere, is that you start to see it everywhere. It's like, if this comic book had come out, God, just 3-4 years ago, I would have looked at this dialogue and looked at the image, the burning cross imagery, and I wouldn't have blinked. It wouldn't have even occurred to me to get annoyed. So I'm kind of in this conundrum. You can see why I'm conflicted on this one. I'm kind of, oh no, I'm going to do this review, is because I want to judge this comic book by its own merits. But here's my thinking, is that if you are genuinely looking at this video for a review and seeing more SJW imagery, whether it's precipitated on that or just is a coincidence, if seeing that pisses you off, this could piss you off. It really could. That said, the comic book is extraordinarily well written. As usual, the art is actually quite good. It's actually one of the better... At this point, I'd be fairly comfortable just saying this is the best written and drawn Vertigo comic right now. Easily, hands down. Nothing... I can't think of anything that comes even close to it. So this one wins it so far. So I read the whole thing, and then I read the 4th issue, so I could theoretically review that. I'm saving it for tomorrow, I guess, or maybe the next day. And it's like, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It doesn't bug me that much. If it were there, this imagery, this kind of, like I said, I don't know if the Vertigo comics I've read so far have just driven me mad, and now I'm seeing it everywhere, or whether it's genuinely there, or whether it's just a coincidence. It seems an odd coincidence that 3 comic books in 1 month are all going to have a burning cross in them. That seems like... Am I crazy? Is that just a little bit weird? I don't know. So, that said, if that bothers you, this will bother you. If you can look past that, this is the best Vertigo's got going on right now. It really is. Even describing it this way, it sounds like I'm being a little vague. And I want to clarify that a little. I actually want to show on the screen. I'll see if I can just do that, like get some screen grabs, and show you what I'm talking about. There is a character in this who looks like evil Colonel Sanders, speaks with a southern accent, and is eager to start a hanging on these foreigners who came across the border invading our culture. And it's like this is too on the nose. It's too on the nose. So issue 3 got a downgrade in my mind, because while it is very well written, I'm going to see if I can just show it on the screen. It's just these lines about, you know, invading our borders and stealing our jobs and fucking with our culture. And I'm just like, that doesn't seem appropriate for this setting. Like, these are just a quick wrap up. Ugh. So I'm going to finish this and move on with my life. I like issue 3. It's not bad. That was a scare, I guess, seeing like stuff that I'm like, I hope this isn't what I think it is, and it's kind of hard to ignore. I've read issue 4. Stuff like this isn't there, but we'll get to that with issue 4. I still do recommend this comic for a couple reasons, not the least of which being it's one of the only ones that I can unquestionably say is a good comic book. It qualifies as a comic book. I've looked at the forget his name, the writer. I gotta find it. Hold on. Let me see. Simon Spurrier. Yeah, Simon Spurrier has like a long history with comics. I mean, he, I think 2000 AD, Judge Dredd, Mega City. He's done stuff. He's been places. He's done stuff. Mostly just this century, but still. Mostly just this century is the last 18 years, so I really need to just get a handle on the fact that I'm old. But he's done some stuff. This is good writing. This is very well written. It is well drawn. It's a good Vertigo comic book. It qualifies for all those criteria. Good writing, good comic book, good Vertigo comic book. Unreservedly. So I recommend it, but if something like what I mentioned is going to bug you, be aware. That's it. I'm out.